Let's get into some sophomores. We want to talk about some of these other players on this team and um, two complete opposite stories. Franz Wagner, just an absolute surprise at 7. First team all rookie in a stacked year. I mean, that's a big compliment to get first team all rookie in a year like last year. Um, and he just was really a jack of all trades. And the master of all none kind of mantra, I don't think is a slight against him as a rookie. He was good at really everything. You ask him to handle the ball and play make, you can do it. You ask him to play off the ball as a cutter and a shooter, spot up. Like he does everything. Ask him to be a screener. Like I think I don't know how to word this, but obviously not the best player in the draft, but potentially right now, the most versatile player in this draft. Like he can really do everything. And I think that's such an impressive thing to see from a rookie. A guy, like usually you want to bring rookies along and you want to introduce their role slowly, see what they're good at, slot them in those situations. But the Magic asked him to do everything last year, and he did it, and he did it pretty damn efficiently. And then you look at Jalen Suggs, the guy who was drafted ahead of him, the guy that a lot of Raptors fans are like, what the hell are we doing? We missed out on the opportunity. But that ended up being the right pick. Obviously, Scotty Barnes, rookie of the year, and Jalen Suggs, efficiency-wise, one of the worst players in the league last year. Not to say he's always going to be like that, but kind of a complicated season. I don't know. How did you feel about his performance? And do you feel like you would just give him a mulligan? Is there room for growth? How do you see it?
Yeah, I think there's definitely room for growth there. I think obviously we only saw him in 48 games. He had a couple of different injury issues throughout the season. When he was on the court, yeah, it was very inefficient. There were times where you could watch and just think, good God, what were Orlando thinking when they drafted this guy? But then he also had those flashes where you think there really is a player here. He just needs that extra bit of time, because he averaged 12 points and 4.5 assists in his time on the floor. He started 45 games. So they obviously had a belief in him. Obviously it helped that Marcel Fultz was being himself and just not being available to play for the majority of that time, unfortunately. But I think the playmaking is there. I think he's going to grow as a player. I think we could still look at Jalen Suggs as a really key contributor on this team in a few years, because I think him and Cole Anthony as a pairing would be interesting, because it'd be kind of similar to Sexton and Garland, because I think Cole Anthony can be that just elite knockdown scorer, whereas Suggs could be that bit more of a playmaker that won't be constantly having to look for a shot as well.
Yeah. I think one thing we can say about Suggs, at least, if we just ignore the offense, I mean, offensively, we can give him the credit for, he is such a hustle player. He, in the open court, the guy's just a demon. Like, he is really getting after it. And that's the kind of guy that you want in the modern NBA. We can give him credit defensively for sure. He, on Basketball Index, he is ranked very highly. And you see how hard he hustles. He was top 10 in percentage of loose balls collected. You really have to dig deep for some stats to praise him on, but it does check out. Like, he's an absolute competitor, and that matters not just in terms of team building, like what kind of guys you want on this roster to make a competitive team. But I think he offers elite perimeter defense, and if his ceiling is like Marcus Smart level defense, then is that the worst thing ever? Like, if you have a guy who is great in the open court, is maybe an okay at best like shooter, then maybe that's just something you have to live with.
Yeah, I think if you can get up to that sort of level, that'd be absolutely huge for this Orlando team. It's always an element that you need in a guard. If you can find a good defensive guard who's a decent playmaker, that's an important role player that you need as you look to move up the league and stop being the whipping boys and start competing to get into the playoffs again.
Thanks for watching Coast to Coast on YouTube. For full episodes, check out the show wherever you get your podcasts. And for all the best hot takes, subscribe to the Coast to Coast YouTube channel below.